Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. In this video, this is going to be an updated guide and prep guide for 9.2. In the past 2 weeks, we have gotten a lot more information about how to obtain certain recipes, different eye levels, and all of this type of stuff. So I want to go over that, give you some insight, and hopefully help you prep for this new patch. Now, I will say this guide is mostly going to be focused on reputation and legendaries. If you are somebody who wants to see the new materials, or see the new singular potion, or the feast being added to the game, I highly recommend checking out my previous 9.2 video. I will leave it in the description, but that video goes over those things that have yet to change. They are all still the same items, so if you are looking for that type of information, I highly recommend checking out that video. Like I said, this video is going to highlight the changes of how to actually obtain the items, and also give you some insight on the possible best in slot legendaries for 9.2 and how to prep your legendaries if you haven't already. But without further ado, we are going to get right into this video. Just make sure if you are watching this video in the future, all of this is subject to change. It is currently the 19th of January, and because of that, we can only say what we see, so there's a big possibility that some of this might change in the future. So just keep an eye out for future videos, or newer videos depending on when you watch this, because if we do have changed information, I'll make sure to update you guys. But first, we're going to be talking about crafter's marks, and we're going to do that right now. So in the previous video, I talked about the fact that we have two new crafter's marks, which is the crafter's marks 4 and the crafter's mark of the first ones, and now we finally have a source for them. So they both required reputation, with the Enlightened, which is the new faction inside of 9.2, in Zereth Mortis, and the Mark 4 requires honored reputation, while the mark of the first ones requires revered reputation. So this was not shocking. I mean, currently both crafter's marks are locked behind reputation in Korthite, and the crafter's marks 2 was also locked behind reputation. So this only makes sense that in the new patch, the new stuff will also yet again be locked behind reputation. But at least now we know we will need honored and revered, which at least is a lot better than exalted. So that is the new information that we have about crafter's marks, and now we're getting into vestiges. So currently for vestiges, there is a tome which you can purchase once again from the Enlightened with honored reputation, which teaches you the vestiges for that character. And you will have to do this on every single character that you level up for legendaries, but at least it's only honored reputation. Speaking about Korthite in our previous experience, even though all 3 of these items are locked behind rep, at least it is only 1 grind per character instead of 2. Previously, we had to do Death's Advanced as well as the Archivist, but thankfully we only have this one faction locked behind, so yes, we do have to get revered rep with the Enlightened, but at least we only have to do it with the Enlightened. So a lot of people will not be happy about this reputation grind, but at least we're only doing it once. Now, in terms of how long it's going to take, we do have some estimates. So according to Wowhead's calculations, it's going to take about 28 to 30 days with minimum effort in order to hit revered. So that is basically about a month. Now, minimum effort is a little bit subjective, but basically what they say, if you just do the minimum, dailies, go into Zereth Mortis, complete the dailies, do the weekly every single week, so about 25 minutes per day, it will take you a whole month, 28 days, in order to hit revered. Now, this is not including rares, treasures, or bonus tokens that you get, so of course that will speed up the process a lot. Somebody did go out and try to actively farm rares as well as treasures, and they were able to hit revered in about 23 days. So at least, that is 5 days shorter than 28, but it's still going to take 3 to 4 weeks in order to hit revered with this reputation. So the marks are not coming super fast, and the next item that we're going to be talking about is not coming super fast, but in about 3 to 4 weeks after patch, we should have everything unlocked. Of course, this is playing actively every single day, so if you are somebody who does not have the time or you only play a few times a week, you sadly will have a lot longer of a rep grind, but you'll eventually get there. Now, the big thing that we finally know is how to get this quote-unquote free legendary that Blizzard was going to give out. Well, to no surprise to anybody, this free belt is not actually free. You do need revered reputation with the Enlightened once again, so it's going to take anywhere between that 23 days to about 30 days in order to unlock this quote-unquote free belt, and then you still have to buy it from the vendor. Now, of course, if people do not want the actual belt themselves, then the memory is also unlocked through the vendor at Revered, and this memory can be used in any slot. So, if you don't want it on a belt, you want it on a ring instead, you can easily do so. Now, a good thing to note is that this memory is account-wide, so that means once somebody does this on a single character, they will have this memory unlocked for all of their characters. So around that 23 to 30 day when everybody is finally hitting Revered, that is when a huge increase of possible legendary sales will happen yet again, because people are going to have access to this memory, and they're going to be crafting the rank 7 legendaries to get the best gear possible. The one downside about just buying the belt instead of using the memory at the vendor is that the belt is only eye level 265, which seems pretty weird because the current eye level of rank 7, which is the new legendary that we're going to be getting, is eye level 291. So that is a 26 eye level difference, and 265 is only 3 item levels above a rank 6 legendary at the current point, so I feel like a lot of people will probably go the memory route, buy themselves a rank 7, and then of course craft that in order to get the highest item level possible. Now, of course, if you're a casual like me, who's still rocking a rank 3 legendary, then you'll probably happily take the belt. I know I will, and I will probably just wear that for the rest of Shadowlands. But for the people out there who are trying to min-max and be competitive with their gear, most likely they are going to be buying a second rank 7 in order to slot that memory into whatever slot, whether it's a belt, ring, necklace, etc. So around that time where everybody is going to start hitting Revered, we can see a spike in legendaries. Also, of course, whenever we start unlocking vestiges, whenever it is a normal time to hit Honored, we will see that first wave of rank 7s also go very fast. So that is basically all of the new information we have. We know how the crafter's marks and the vestiges are unlocked. We know about how long it's going to take to get that reputation. And we also know about that free, or quote-unquote, free belt and memory. Now, we're going to transition into exactly what this means and how you guys can prep for it. So we're going to get a little bit theoretical here, so bear with me. I hope you guys can understand. I'm going to put some visuals on the screen to hopefully make it easier. But if you guys are currently not in the legendary market, this may seem a little foreign to you. However, hopefully you will understand, and of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, whether that's in the Discord or in the comments down below, and I'll be happy to help. But at the current moment, if we look at 9.1.5, domination gear is the priority in terms of slots. So right now, domination gear and sockets dominate over legendaries. What this means is that domination sockets appear on all helms, shoulders, and chest. So nobody is going to be using a legendary in any of those 3 slots because domination gear takes priority over them. Also, for example, if you're a cloth wearer, then you won't have a legendary in bracers or belts, leather, gloves and boots, mail, belt and boots, plate, bracers, and gloves. So because of this, basically, depending if you're cloth, leather, mail, or plate, the 5 different slots will change. But at the current moment, 5 gear slots are basically voided from legendaries because they are better in terms of just min-maxing. So what a lot of people do if they do not have enough gold and they're just getting into the legendary market, they will avoid these gear slots to level up their legendaries. So A lot of people don't touch, the chest pieces or anything like that because that is a domination gear, so the sell rate is probably the lowest. However, in 9.2, we no longer have the domination gear system, and now we have tier sets. And tier sets work differently and actually gives us legendary crafters an advantage in terms of best in slots changing. So what I mean by this is tier slots, yet again, come in 5 different slots. That is the helmet, the shoulders, the chest piece, gauntlets, and leggings. However, in order to min-max and get the bonus necessary, you only need 4 out of the 5 tier slots slotted. So, you can leave out the helmet and wear the shoulders, chest, gauntlets, and leggings. You can leave out the gauntlets and wear the helmet, shoulders, chest, and leggings, etc. And so now you can play around. It doesn't matter what 4 out of the 5 slots you choose, but you only need 4. So this is giving people options. Now, the reason this is so important is because generally Legendaries is your highest item level item. And each different type of slot has a different type of stat, and the highest stat slots is your helmet, your pants, and your chest piece. So, because legendaries are the highest item level, you would want to prioritize your legendary being in one of these 3 slots because it has the highest stats possible. Combined with the highest item level, it can give you the most stat. So, because of this, and the fact that you can kind of customize what slots you want to use for your tier sets, best in slot legendaries are going to change. So previously, let's say your best in slot memory was either a chest piece or a ring. Most people at the current moment has it crafted on their ring because their chest slot is automatically dominated by the domination gear. But now with these tier set changes, you can wear a helmet, shoulders, gauntlets, leggings to get your 4 tier set bonus, and then put your legendary in that chest slot, and then now you have your tier set bonus, and also now you have your highest item level item in a highest stat slot. So these pieces of gear that have basically been, blocked off by domination gear is now going to possibly become the best in slot gear. So if you kind of have avoided these slots and have not leveled them up yet, this is why I recommend you to do so. Now, of course, theory crafters are still out there, PTR is still changing. We don't exactly know what the actual best in slot pieces are going to be yet, but we will probably see a lot of head pieces, pants pieces, chest pieces come in instead of, being avoided at the current moment. They will probably become one of the best in slots depending on your class. Of course, if you are playing on a class where your best in slot memory is not able to be slotted on any of those, then of course you might see different best in slot pieces for yourself. But that is basically it, and that is why I would highly recommend you level up all your legendary slots if you haven't already. Now, if you are a new gold maker and you haven't gotten into Legos yet, I highly recommend you start investing, and on what slots you want to invest first is kind of up to you. Honestly, the best thing to do right now in terms of just making sure you make profit so you can continue making gold and unlocking legendary slots, since we don't even have a release date for 9.2 yet, I would open up your TSM crafting menu, look at the sell rates for legendaries, and go by that. So for example, if you look at the cloth legendaries on your tailorer, 99% that the sell rate is going to be the highest for the cape. So go ahead, level up the cape, start selling them. They should sell pretty fast. Then you can move on to the next, so on and so forth. Now, I do want to highlight one more topic before this video ends, and this is Korthite Crystals. A lot of people ask if Korthite Crystals will be used in 9.2, or if they should be stockpiling them in order to see an increase in price. And I will say there are 2 things that are going to happen, basically. So at the current moment, rank 7s will not be unlocked until people are able to hit Honored. Now, of course, that is not firm. This is currently just PTR. So this is all subject to change. But because of that, we will probably see a few days where people have not hit Honored yet. Nobody will have access to rank 7s. However, once 9.2 hits, because domination gear is no longer viable and tier sets will become a thing, the best in slots are going to change. So For the very competitive people, if they do not just want to wait for a rank 7, they might re-roll their rank 6 in order to get that best in slot gear, so, it doesn't mess with their tier slots. So because of that, for the first few days until people start hitting Honored and buying rank 7s, we may see an increase of need for Korthite Crystals. There will probably be a price increase because the demand for rank 6s will fluctuate and go up for a little bit. Now, of course, this is not confirmed because if any of the reputation changes, or if the best in slot for some reason is the exact same in 9.1.5 as it will be in 9.2, we will not see this happen. But if you are a legendary crafter and you can get your hands on some cheap Korthite crystals, it might be worth it if you want to get into those first few days of selling basically people re-rolling their rank 6s. Now, of course, if you can't afford Korthite crystals or you really just don't really care about those first few days, you're only missing out on a handful of sales. The real big sales will be with that rank 7, so don't feel too bad. So it's kind of personal preference. I'm not going to say you should, I'm not going to say you shouldn't. It's just strictly up to you and really your financial situation. But that is basically it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some valid information out of this. Let me know if you guys have any questions, if there's anything that's a little bit confusing. I will definitely try to help you guys as much as possible. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, I highly recommend joining the Discord. That is where you're going to be updated with the most up-to-date information. But without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching. And of course, have a good day.